Hello, I'm Jewell Starsinger, and this is Astrology and Beyond. Okay, so Mars Pluto opposition, very scary. Are you scared? So, we all think Mars is a boy and Pluto is a boy, but I'm here to tell you that Pluto and Mars are both central energies, so they're yin and yang. It's a combination energy. Women have Mars, men have Mars, and men have Venus. And Saturn is feminine, the granny energy. So we're a mix. We are in a blender, in a vortex. We are a blended energy. Now, when we start to understand ourselves, we need to know who we are and what we're doing here. Well, we are in the middle. We are a mixture, which is why I like the Catholics better than the Protestants, because the Catholics have many, many gods. Now, they say there's one, but they're bullshitting you. That is not true. They have Mother Mary and baby Jesus, and they have Mr. God, and then they have multiple saints, and those are all gods. It's just like astrology, it's just like Kabbalah, it's just like all the multi-polytheistic ideologies that different people have held, you see. It's the same God, gods, different names, same energy, it's all the same. So we start fighting over the words, and that's the Tower of Babel now, isn't it? Right? So, what I want to show you quickly, because I just don't have time to go into great detail, and there's some really great people doing details that are beautiful. So, listen to them too. My point is, I've got this little crazy diagram here, and this thing says it. If you look in the middle pillar, you've got the moon at the bottom, and you've got Mars, and then you've got the sun. And what's at the top? You can't quite see the glyph. You can, it's very small up there. See it? It's Pluto. I like to say it that way. Pluto. Watch out for Pluto. And Pluto is the raper god. He went and got Persephone and he raped her. Well, he is they. Oh God, I hate to say this because I hate the trans thing and the whole they and I'm a they. But the truth is we are a they. We in the center are a they. We are the combination of the feminine and the masculine. There's the feminine and the masculine. I'm backwards on my video here. The yellow side is the masculine, and the green's little circle there, that's the feminine, right? Point being, if you look in the middle, there's Mars in the middle. Now, the ancient people have put Mars elsewhere on this tree of life, but you know me, I don't obey anybody's rules, and I insist on interpreting things as I see them, and this is how I see this. And here's the thought that came to me when I saw that the Mars in that the Yesod, that's this position in the tree of life, is called foundation. So the foundation for life, which is down here, Malkut is the kingdom, that is the living being, the soul. The Shekinah is the soul, the feminine container for the masculine ideation, the two into one. Okay, yada yada. I say this every time, but it's like I have to keep saying it. Anyway, so foundation to be alive is sexual union, period. So all these central energies are sexual union, which means that it takes two. So Mars isn't just a dude. Mars is the man and his wife in Congress together, the lovers. This should be the lover's card. You cannot cut something if there's nothing to cut. There's no cutting if there's only a knife and no meat, right? You don't have life unless you have this mother-baby thing. And why does the mother in all these stories give birth to a baby boy? Because the feminine is the container to contain the masculine. The container, the cup, is there to contain the drink. They go together. So all this, it's so hard. Anyway, Pluto then is at the very top, right? Pluto is the higher octave of the sun, the higher octave of Mars, and guess what? Pluto is the higher octave of the moon. And moon and Pluto are the same. Pluto is not a raper god. Pluto is a combination of fire and water, the two most bold creative forces that we can think of in yin and yang perspective. Pluto is fire and water. Pluto is the witch in the woods with a boiling cauldron, bubble, bubble, toil and trouble, and gods are gonna trouble the water. What does that mean? I always wondered because I heard that spiritual, gods are gonna trouble the water. Ooh, ooh, gods are gonna trouble the water. Woo! I love to sing. So what is that? Trouble doesn't mean bad necessarily. Troubling is the stirring, you see. Troubling is the stirring. Gods are going to stir the water. We create a vortex, and within that eye of the storm, it's peaceful, and that's where we are. Do you realize we're in the peaceful center of a storm? So get away from the walls. We just squish in together. Because the walls of the storm, that's where the chaos is. It's on the outer edges. Step out of the center and go to these edges, and you will be swooshed around and reformed, and then spit back into the center, because this is the only place to be. There isn't any heaven away. This is where it is. It all happens here, and it happens in you, and it happens in me. And when we come together and we are a knife and a meat cutting, when the cutting is between us, when the birthing is the mother and the child, when the sexual union is the yoni and the lingam, when the heart is the center of the uniting forces in that peaceful center in the eye of the storm. We have all these central agencies in our bodies, and we're asked to understand them. It is important to know fire and water. Fire marries earth. So there is a union from side to side, and there's a union from high to low, which is why we can't say low is bad. When someone's in a bad space and they're low on the status symbol, what does that low one give you if you're high? It gives you your highness. You don't have your highness unless there's somebody in the dirt. You should bless the one in the dirt because they give you your highness. That's what's missing today, is that we just don't understand these details of existence. Moon opposite Pluto is a power time for the united things to understand each other. It's coming. I know that when Moon Pluto happens in my chart, that's when I get really powerful. I feel like a force of nature when Pluto hits my moon. When it hit my sun, I almost went crazy. So these transits are very important in your chart. These are very important transitions in our lives. And it really matters to understand what we're dealing with. Where is this happening in my life, in my mind, in my heart, in my body? Am I sick? Am I nuts? What's going on? If you understand and you take the time to take an inventory, literally an inventory, that's how you get in your power. When I was young, feminists were like, oh, be in your power, well, we were trying to be in our power and being like dudes. And what we didn't understand is the power of the feminine. The feminine power is subversive, internal, provocative. Femininity is not cute. Babies are cute, and they're down here, and they're both feminine and masculine because they are a conjoined piece of matter in the center of the pillar. Femininity there's femininity. Femininity is this left pillar. It's dark, it's cold. Femininity isn't easy. We feminine, we need men. We need the masculine. If we don't get that shot of masculinity, and what is that? It's fire and it's novelty. As we can sit around in our little cold hovels, being little frozen stones, little old ladies, little old lonely maidens who just know men. Oh, no men. Blech, men. Blech, stupid, ugly. And then when one glorious being walks in the room and says, "Oh, aren't you so silly? Oh, come over here, honey. I hate you." And then you just open your legs and let him come inside because it's so good. The feminine calls in the light. She asks for it. So how are you going to be a good person, woman, and ask for that energy, that fabulous, masculine, joyful newness? Because the feminine's dark and cold, and she's eternal. She's eternally a cold stone. And the masculine is the eternal new spark. And together, you can't know either one of those. That cold, dark, eternal stone, that instantaneous flashing that never stops, those are like way out there. That's the troubling. And they come together in us and we go, oh, ooh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Sacred union, people. Don't use your sex for fun. Use it for beauty. Sex is beauty, the sharing, the communion. Right now, we're having a communion with ourselves. Yeah, we are. We're having this communion like I'm all by myself and it's just me and God. Well, that's what I've been doing for 25 years. Like an old hermit in the woods, reading my books, studying my studies, feeling my feels. Because I had to find out what's going on. Because if you don't look inside and feel inside, then you're just going to be guided by rando crap. So that's what this work is for, and that's the work I do. And I bring people who come to me, they want to do this work. If you don't want to work, then don't come here because I can't abide laziness and I can't abide cowardice. I just don't like it. It doesn't make me happy. It takes courage and fortitude to learn to see, to really feel. I was on all the medications for mental illness for several years. I went so deep. And of course, I followed the medicals. I followed a lot of cultural crap because I'm a girl and we try to fit in. That's what we do. That's what the lady part does. She wants to belong. She encloses. She accepts and encloses energy. That's what she does. So we want to be in society and have it hold us and we'll hold it and all of its properties. So I was in that medical crappy life and I was kind of like just a shell. I was numb. And one day I was sicker and sicker as time went by. I was very fat. I was very sad and I was crippled. I couldn't lift myself off the toilet. My legs were so bad. I mean, and I would lie on the floor and think, oh, I could die now because I've had a decent life and I've experienced stuff and I'm done. And one day I went, fuck that. I'm not going to do this anymore. So I fought. I fought for me. And I stopped taking those mind-numbing drugs. It took me 6 months of cutting the pill, like shaving pieces off of it, because it was so friggin' addictive. This poison they give you is so nasty. And all the rest of them were gone in a day as soon as I started getting the right thyroid, because I let them cut out half of my thyroid gland 40 years ago. Duh. What? They're insane. These surgeons, they are monsters. Stay away. Anyway, So I have to take that medicine, but they wouldn't give me the T3. I needed the T3 and all they give is the 4. Anyway, I had the fight, I did the battle, I did the thing. And I got better because as soon as I got the number 3, and I was able to drop all the drugs because what I needed was the right hormones. I made a decision one day and I said, I'm ready to feel my feelings. I'm not afraid of my sad anymore. I'm not afraid of my oh poor me anymore. I'm not afraid of I did you wrong anymore. I decided to be fearless and I stopped taking all the numbers. And since that day, how long ago was that? That was about numbers. My poor little brain, numbers. Ah! All right. It's 24 now, and it was probably around a 20, no, it was about 17. 3, today's 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Wow, been a recovering coward for 7 years. Because I would say I'm a recovering victim. So I've been recovering from that for 7 years. And I can't tell you how exciting and wonderful it is to be in a place where I just say, okay, let's try that. But not because someone else told me to, but because that feels like the proper course. Because you have your feels, you have your nose, you have your gut, which is kind of like a maybe place. It's like, nudge me over here now. Because this is a dance we're doing. We're dancing. Oh, and one more thing before I stop here, because these aren't tangents, I hope you think. These are pathways. This pathway says, let's teach the children, the boys and the girls, to do partner dancing. We're dancing. Let's teach the kids how to dance. And none of that by yourself, twist again. I think that was the downfall of the culture when our generation started dancing alone. I guess we had to go through the dancing alone phase. But let's go back to some partner dancing, okay? Teach the boys how to be good leaders in the dance, how to be confident in their dancing moves so that they can guide their lady. Because if there's nothing we like more, we ladies, it's to be guided through, to be in exchange with. That central heart, that devoted area, that's a dance. And now it's solstice, where Mars and Pluto are opposing. What's that lesson? What is that? That's the coming together, the mother and the child, and the eternal lovers, the eternal water and fire that made us, you see? Ah, it's lovely. It's wonderful. All right, thank you for watching. Touch all the bells and whistles. Subscribe, like, or not. And if you don't like, thank you for listening this long. Okay, off I go.